A lot of drivers from my garage, they have kids with cancer, parents who've had cancer, and they've cut out meat as well. No meat, no dairy. They say they feel much, much better, and they do it because they want to have a long, healthy life. Live as long as possible and live healthy as well. No eggs either. If I accidentally eat mayonnaise or something like that, instantly feel sick. So that shows me it was never healthy from the start. I'm trying to get them to do it. However, their mom, at times, she will give them some meat here and there. And I said, listen, if we're not eating meat, why give them meat? And they love it. You know, they love being meat-free. They enjoy it. But kids, you know, they can't cook for themselves. So every now and then, if someone brings them some meat or something like that, they will eat it. But I'm working on making them meat-free as well. Dairy and egg-free, yes. Almond milk. My kids enjoy almond milk. It's downtown that make gyros, but it's falafel only. It's vegan. There's somewhere downtown I just don't wear, but I hear it's awesome, the best in the city. I'm gonna find out where it is. I've cut out everything except for fish. It's been 4 months now, and I feel great, losing weight, feel much better. My dad passed away from cancer 2016. His brother passed away 2015. And my aunt passed away also 2013 from cancer. That made me think that I may be next in line, and I don't want to go that route, so I cut out all the meat, working on the fish. Vegan is the healthy way to go.
Hi, I'm already vegan, so I love animals. Don't kill animals. Thank you. Milk make me sick anyway, so I think it's not good for your system too. I'm not eating eggs either, so I don't like taste anyway.
Plant-based is better, but it's more healthy for you than eating meat because it doesn't clog the arteries. It also contains more vitamins for the body. It's very healthy to become a vegan. It don't make you as aggressive as you are when you eat meat either. The meat contains chemicals. When I was south, I saw them shooting pigs look like with steroids, with chemicals. The needle was about this long, and the pigs was abnormally big, as big as a horse.
New York City Vegetarian Food Festival. They're expounding on the work of Paul Gilroy and the Birmingham group. When they talk about the other, that's definitely a theme in those cultural theorists. Of course, they're from England, and I studied in England, so I'm more knowledgeable about them than maybe the American side. But yeah, the Birmingham group talked a lot about the other and how society often marginalizes people and separates them by making them other than the norm. And I found that work to be very interesting. I studied it a lot when I was in school. There's a whole natural process to this thing, right? Because animals eat other animals to keep the population down, to keep other animals from overpopulating. And there's an interesting a nice, interesting natural process to the ecosystem. You know what I mean? I think we violate that on more than one level. We overprocess. We harvest vegetables from the ground before they're ready, and we put chemicals in it so that they're ready again. And none of this is natural. It may be normal for us as a society, but it's not natural. I look at it now and I go, what was I thinking? You know, I mean, like I was literally eating flesh, and it's like very strange. But you know, it's strange what you'll get used to if that's what you're taught. That's your environment. I had the stuffed avocado. I had barbecue riblets. They were just unbelievable. Like I finally realized that I could eat food without missing out on the things that I'm used to, like barbecue riblets, for example. So the difficulty about being a vegan is how often you feel left out, especially if you're traveling, if you're going places with friends. There's always things that you can't eat. But at places like Seasoned Vegan, it makes you feel really included again, and it helps you to realize that you don't have to go without certain things. You just have to find an alternative. Yeah, and that's what they do. Try to come from a logical point of view because nobody wants to be preached to. So what I do is, like, for example, in the case of my parents who are not necessarily ready to become vegan, I say things to them like, listen, our stomach acids are not made to eat meat 3 times a day. If you just cut it out for a couple of times during the week, then that would be a nice transition to a healthier lifestyle. You know, because once you start making those small changes, it's easier to make the bigger changes. The baby steps, that's right. Yeah, I find that there's quite a few people like you that I've met that have never really been happy with the idea of eating meat, but they've done it because that's been the norm. You could tell that it was really never in them, and making that transition was really a very natural process for them because they never really function that way. I won't say that I was like that. I definitely was a product of my environment. I definitely was a true carnivore. If I can change, anybody can, right? So there you go. I was traumatized. At the age of 15, I stopped eating any kind of flesh because I saw a documentary where they were killing whales, and basically some of these whales were pregnant, and they were just like killing the whales and their babies, and I became like completely traumatized. So I just cut it out for 7 or 8 years, and then I studied in England. When you're in school, you're usually very poor, and because pork was a really cheap meat, I started eating meat again. But now I'm vegan. I'm really happy that I've gotten back to my root feelings in terms of compassion. Yes, absolutely. And health, to be honest. I mean, I think the amount of meat that people eat, I really don't think our bodies are designed to take it. Our stomach acids are never even high enough. When they compare our stomach acid to herbivores like cows, and then to lions, carnivores, and I mean, what happens is they realize that our stomach acids are nowhere near where the lions are. They said, well, our ancestors ate meat and they're fine, but the truth is that they ate meat very sparingly because they simply didn't have access to it. Now people are eating meat 3 times a day, and this is the cause of cholesterol problems and heart disease and all kinds of cancers and all kinds of stuff. And I realize some people have to get off of this gradually, but I really think it's the way of the future. If we're going to change and become a more socially conscious society, we've got to start taking better care of our bodies. We really do. And it's like do no harm. So if you're really a society that believes in doing no harm, then you can't justify, well, I'll do harm over here just to have this hamburger. It's like you kind of have to be that way across the board. It's all relative. I went to Season Vegan for the first time like maybe a month ago. A friend and I, who's vegan, have been dying to go. We've heard lots of wonderful things about it. We finally made the time, and it was just amazing. The food was just amazing. And later on, I wound up bringing 2 of my friends who are not vegan or not vegetarian, and they went berserk. They absolutely loved it. They said you don't miss meat because the food is made so well, it's seasoned so well. They really felt like they were eating a great, big, wonderful meal, and they never missed the meat. So, check it out. Tabitha Brown. She's actually an actress who became vegan, and she's doing commercials, and she was doing like her own commercials on Facebook and stuff like that, and she got the attention of Whole Foods, and Whole Foods is actually now has her as part of a campaign because she did such a good job that they were actually selling out of the items that she was talking about on her videos. So like field roast sausage, which is a vegan sausage, and their TTLA, their tempeh, tomato, lettuce, and avocado sandwiches that were in their deli, vegan sandwiches. They literally across the country sold out of them because of her videos, because it went viral. Check Tabitha Brown. She's fantastic, and her videos are so funny. She's great. After seeing Joe Cross's Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and after seeing What the Health, I went vegan in August, and I've been vegan ever since, and I'm really happy that I made that change. I feel healthier, I feel better, and there's plenty of wonderful food options out there.
I done ate squirrel and turtle and honey, possum, and oh Lord, honey, don't judge me, okay? Hey y'all, I'm Tabitha Brown. I am an actress and I'm a vegan food influencer. I've been vegan for 2.5 years. On a personal note, veganism means a healthier life, a happier life, a cruelty-free life. I used to think of veganism. When I would hear about it, I would say, oh, people who do that, honest to God, truth, I thought only white people did it. I was like, I had never met another black vegan. When I was younger, I would hear about it and be like, I think as I got a little bit older, I used to think, oh, it's for hardcore animal activists. As I got more well-traveled, I started thinking, oh, veganism is for the cool kids. But then I also would think it's kind of judgy. Sometimes a little bit afraid of it, to be honest. How did I eat growing up? Well, I'm originally from Eden, North Carolina. I'm a small town country girl. And baby, I ate everything. When I think about what I ate with my granddad and my great-granddad, I'd be like, Lord, how in the world am I still here? So my dad instilled in me and my sister that you eat what is there, okay? Because this is what we have. So honey, I ate whatever was in front of me. So child, we ate pork, beef, whatever. But I was always very open with food. I would try anything. I done ate squirrel, turtle, and possum. But that's how I grew up, because my great granddaddy would hunt, and then I would go to his house, and he would take me to farms and stuff, and I would eat whatever. Comfort food to me is whatever feels good going in, and while it's in, it still feels good. Like you still feel full and you have a good feeling about yourself. Macaroni and cheese. Favorite non-vegan meals, baby, seafood. A good old crab leg, lobster tail. Come on, shrimp, dip it in the butter. Ooh, and garlic. But I found lobster mushrooms, and baby, seasoned right, they do the trick. What made me decide to go vegan was I was very sick for a year and 7 months. I had this resting headache. I had woke up one morning with this pain in the back of my neck. The pain in the back of my neck was normal to me because I had a car accident when I was in high school. I would have sometimes what they call a crook in your neck, when you can't move, your neck stuck to one side. I would have that so often. But this particular morning, it was in the back of my neck, and the pain moved up into the back of my head. And it rested there for 1 year and 7 months. That headache became almost debilitating on some days, where I could not walk well. My vision would become blurred. I just started having chronic pain throughout my body. All my lady parts started to shut down. It was just a very bizarre time. And I had chronic fatigue. I would lay in my bed all day long after I would get up enough strength to take my kids to school in the morning. And I would come back home and I would lay back down until it was time to pick them up. I was just exhausted all the time. I was sad and I was depressed, and I had major panic attacks and anxiety. As the days went on, I just felt like I was getting sicker and sicker. I would go to the doctors and tell them my symptoms. They could not figure it out. I felt like I was dying. I got to make sure I look like I'm feeling all right, because I don't want my kids and my husband to wear it. So I would still post pictures and try to do videos, and even maybe show up to a short film, or try to go and do like a little work if I could, and be literally in so much pain that it was just very hard. A year and 7 months of that. And my daughter came home from school one day, and she said, Mom, we saw this documentary at school. I think you should watch it. And it was What the Health. And my husband and I, we all sat down together, we watched it, and I was like, oh wow, this is very interesting. What got me is that when they were talking about diseases are not hereditary, that we eat the same thing causing the same disease. And for me, my mom died at 51. And she had ALS. And my dad is 68. He's the oldest male to live in the family. And a lot of my aunts and uncles and family members die very young of heart attacks and strokes and rare sicknesses. To me, meat was the common denominator. And I thought to myself, well, I haven't tried that, right? And they were talking about plant-based eating on What the Hell. And so I told my husband, well, I've tried all the dummy drugs, all the guinea pig drugs that the doctors have given me over this last year and a half, and nothing has worked. If I've tried all that stuff, and I can at least try to do this vegan thing for 30 days and see if it'll make me feel better. And so we decided as a family to do a 30-day vegan challenge. And on day 10, my headaches went away. I remember I was walking through my kitchen and I was like, my head ain't hurting. I started feeling better from that day. I started getting my energy back. I started just feeling like myself again. On day 29, I told my husband, I said, I think this is my path. I'm going vegan. He looked at me and said, and I think tomorrow I'm gonna need a piece of chicken. I was like, it's been 2.5 years. I have never felt better in my life. I'm so very thankful that I made that decision for myself. And I never tried to force it on anybody else. I always tell people, whatever you decide, whether you're trying to go vegan or pescatarian, or you're just trying to make better choices, what is your why? And if your why is true to you, if it really means something to you, you'll stick with it. Some facts I would like everybody to know about going vegan is it's not expensive. I used to think that too, but I'll tell you what is expensive. The processed foods, like fake foods, fake meats and stuff like that, that can get expensive. But if you are buying whole food ingredients, your mushrooms, your potatoes, your rice, your beans, your carrots, your greens, things like that, it's cheap. Honey, you get a big bag of rice for $2. Okay, you get a big bag of potatoes for $3. Real plants, real fruits, real grains, real seeds, real nuts. It's not expensive. Another fact, it's gotta be a personal decision. You make it for yourself, whatever that reason is, and don't force it on anyone else. Just let it be personal. A lot of times people don't do that. and it kind of pulls people away from being vegan. There has been a lot of judgment, and we need to judge less and love more. After the 30 days of me going vegan, I was so excited about it because I was feeling good. And I understand that I had a different experience than most people because I had been sick for so long, and I finally found something that was working for me. So I never looked at it like a challenge. I never looked at it like it was hard. I looked at it like, oh my God, this thing is saving my life. Well, I remember thinking of all my favorite non-vegan foods and thinking, oh, how can I make those things vegan? And it became fun for me. And I was excited to try new recipes and figure things out. You know, it was just discovering a new me. I had this whole new joy. And those things started happening in the first couple months. And it still happens now. 2.5 years, I still say I'm a new vegan. 2.5 years is like a toddler who's just starting to get a personality. I'm still discovering, honey, new mushrooms, honey, new herbs and spices, because I ain't a chef, but I do love to cook. First couple months, they were like an adventure. I think if you are going to make a choice for yourself to be vegan, then make your choice. But I always tell people, don't be hard on yourself. Make sure you know your why. If your why is true to you, it keeps you focused. It keeps you going. But if you happen to slip up, don't beat yourself up over it. Relax. It's okay. Honey, it's day by day. I don't judge anybody else that say, I messed around and ate a piece of chicken or I ate some real butter. Honey, that's your business. As long as you can admit it and be real with yourself and know that you had a moment, but you back on track, have your moment and get back on track. I think the worst thing in the world is for somebody to admit what they did and for you to attack them for doing it. What good is that going to do? Help them come back over by encouraging them. Do I think that being vegan is a reasonable diet for everyone? I don't know. I know it worked for me. I know I have thousands of people who follow me who have transformed their lives. I know I have hundreds, if not thousands, of success stories in my inbox of people who were diabetic, who are no longer diabetic after going vegan. People who had high blood pressure, who no longer have high blood pressure. People who had all different types of ailments in their body, who no longer have those things after they went vegan or plant-based or whatever you want to call it. So I know that it works. Is it for everybody? Maybe not. But does it work? Absolutely. I always tell people, listen to your body. Whatever feels right for you, you do that. That's your business. It feels right for me, so I'll continue to do it for me. That's all I can really say about that. If you're interested in a plant-based diet, I say try it for 30 days. Give it your all for 30 days and see how it works for you. I took a 30-day challenge that changed my life. It changed my health and my wealth. I didn't work for over a year. It literally changed my entire life for the better. And people who are completely against it, I can't tell you nothing. I can only say, don't judge a book by the cover. If you're looking at a book and the cover looks crazy, honey, it might just be the wrong author. Sometimes you gotta become the author of your own book and then try it out and see if the pages turn a little bit different. But don't judge. You can be against it, but just don't be judgmental. And let us just all live in love, in perfect harmony together. That's all I got. I'm Tabitha Brown, honey. I absolutely love you. Thank you for listening to my story. Now, you go about your business. Honey, have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's. Him. Love y'all. Bye.
Is vegetarian, but he also has helped kickstart the careers of such people such as James Gunn, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Vincent D'Onofrio, Samuel L. Jackson did a movie that was distributed by Troma. Yeah, tons of people have gotten their starts at Troma, and Lloyd Kaufman's actually going to be here at the booth very shortly.
The animal agriculture is the leading cause for climate change, people. Please eat green. Please go vegan to save our environment. Absolutely. My name is Kareem. You can hit me up on Instagram at Kareem's Dreams. Go green. Right now, I'm dressed as Rey from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
I became vegan about 3 years ago, and I started just because I wanted to be healthy and I wanted to change the way I ate. And then once I made that change, I felt really good about helping make the planet better and be less of a drain on our planet for the animals and I don't know what to say.
I'm vegan. 2002 for the animals. I was a vegetarian for about 12 years before that. I went vegan for Lent. I'm Catholic and had a hard time with it. Talked to some vegans about inspiration. They sent me a link to factoryfarming.com and that was it. I just realized where they came from when I was a kid, where meat came from, animals, and didn't want to do it anymore. It was not something I wanted to participate in.
I'm vegan because animals are not better than humans. Watch Food Inc. Watch it. Trust me. You'll go vegan. Thank you.
I'm vegan for ethical reasons and health reasons. I watched a video of how the animals were treated and it just really heartbroke me. It was 5 years ago.
Okay, so milk is for babies. If you're a baby, you drink milk from your mama. And that's it. And then you grow your teeth and then you eat real food, whatever that is for your species. So there's no need to go and buy milk or dairy from a cow or what have you.
I am vegan and my 20-year-old daughter got me into it and I'm on board.
I seen the movie, What the Health. It's a very good movie, and I'm plant-based.
Oh, I'm a vegan and loving it. Actually, I started last year sometime. What made me start was the fact that we have so much toxins going into a lot of animals and the mistreatment of animals, and I just don't believe in stuff like that. I'm an animal lover, I'm a tree hugger, so it's all for the animals. I watched tons of films, and it disgusted me, repulsed me. What the Health was the first one I watched, and it really touched my heart, and it touched my children's hearts. We became vegan the very next day.
We have a restaurant in Harlem. We've been around for 25 years. It's Uptown Veg. We at the corner of Madison Avenue on 125th, 52 East 125th Street. I'm one of the co-owners. I am a vegan. About 20 years ago, I turned vegan because I don't want to have no animal stuff and anything that was killed when we use stuff that nothing that have a mother. I feel great.
I'm vegan. I've been vegan for the past 2 months actually, so recent. And I'm a vegan because of ethical reasons. I'm a vegan because of the environment. And I'm also a vegan because it's better for my health. It's been a life-changing experience. I like it. I feel better, that's for certain. And I feel better about myself emotionally, spiritually, and I feel better physically. It's a good thing. Like I feel on an everyday basis, I've noticed that my arthritis, the inflammation has gone down. I feel more energetic, and it's good for my stomach. I've noticed that for certain. I've been considering it for quite some time now, and I've been watching a lot of documentaries, and I also have friends who are vegans, so a lot of different influences, and it's just, I feel like it's a smart and it's an ethical choice. I'm a lover of animals, so I can't condone eating animals when I want to protect animals. And also, there's numerous studies that show that these big industrial farms are just not good for our environment. So why would I support that? If I'm looking to build a future for my kids, I want to leave them the planet in better hands.
At Clamp Art Gallery for the opening of my first solo show in New York City, and it's images from Allowed to Grow Old. These are my portraits of elderly rescued farm animals who were allowed to grow old, basically, and they are the lucky ones. So many of their kin, billions each year, do not live past their 6 months to a year. Although these animals that I met for the project survived horrific trauma in many instances, they are indeed the lucky ones. I approached these images as portraits. It was very important to me that viewers appreciate that these animals are sentient beings who feel and think and have unique personalities. So it was important to me that when I photographed these animals that I just as portraits, because I wanted viewers of these images to appreciate that farmed animals are sentient beings who think and feel and have unique personalities. I photographed these animals at eye level. I wanted viewers to be able to look the animals directly in the eyes and have an intimate moment with them. And in order for an image to be in my project, it couldn't just be a beautiful picture of a cow. It had to be a portrait of Bessie, for example. And you'll see the sass in her eye. She had such a independent streak about her, and I just love the glint of sass in her eye there. So that was why I included that image in the project, for example. I became vegan while working on this project. I had spent an afternoon photographing a survivor of the dairy industry named Valentino. And as I was photographing him, I had been a vegetarian all of my adult life, but I had thought that I had made ethical choices with my diet. I purchased only organic milk from grass-fed cows, but I never thought about what happened to male calves, for example. I didn't think about what happened to cows after they're spent and are no longer producing milk. And when I started visiting these farm sanctuaries, I began learning a lot more about the dairy industry. So the seeds were planted, but it wasn't until I met Valentino and I spent the afternoon with him. And as I was looking through my viewfinder, I kept thinking in the back of my mind, how many Valentinos didn't survive because I liked butter in my mashed potatoes or milk in my coffee. That was definitely a moving experience for me, but what clinched it was after I was done photographing him, I spent some time petting him, and he licked me, and his tongue was sandpapery, just like my cat's tongues. And when I made that connection in my mind, at that point I knew I had to become a vegan, and I've been a vegan since then. It's been about 8 years now. I've been working on this project for about 10 years. So for my next project, I want to look at the other end of the life spectrum. I want to photograph animals at birth and the bonding between babies and mother that is so often denied farmed animals on industrialized farms. I think that's going to be very poignant, but in addition to the birth, I want to come back and photograph the babies when they are at their average slaughter age. A lot of people don't realize that they're just babies when they are slaughtered. So that is one of the directions for my future work.